So I wanted to give a shout out to JO Filaments. JO sent me the filament to print this and sponsor this project. And this is just PLA Plus white that I use to print the white on here. And I used the gray also for this. And I'll be using the TPU black for hinges and things on this particular project. Again, I want to thank JO again for sending me this filament. Certainly appreciate it. And Bamboo Labs, thank you for sending me the printer for this project. Yeah. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about this Zephyr Industries VoidRunner 109. And a couple of videos ago I explained that I was trying to, I use AI to try to design an airplane that'll reach 200 miles per hour. And I showed you guys what AI came up with. But then I ran across this Zephyr Industries, the VoidRunner 109, and that was for a 50mm EDF, and I was going to just scale that up to around, I could put 100mm or 120mm EDF in it. But I talked with Trafton over there at Zephyr Industries, and he scaled this up to 90mm, and so now I'm going to use this to try to reach the 200 miles per hour. But as I started looking at this sort of reminded me somewhat of a Tomahawk missile. Then I said to myself, well, let's run some numbers and see what this thing actually would do as a missile or something like that. So I decided to print this in just regular PLA. Normally this would be printed in lightweight PLA, but I chose PLA for strength because at high speeds need a lot of strength. And again, at high speeds, the wing loading does go up on this considerably, but they're not going to be doing any, high-speed turns or anything like that. It's pretty much going to go to a certain altitude and then dive down to wherever you want it to land or hit or whatever you want it to do that. So that is really not that important to me as far as the wing loading. If you plan on flying this around like a regular airplane, don't do it. It's not going to work that great. You're going to have to fly extremely fast to keep this in the air. So, yeah. But like I said, anyway, if you're going to fly it around like an airplane or something like that, go ahead and use a lightweight PLA to print this out and go from there with it. But I ran some numbers on this and some calculations and things like this. You get the files for this, I believe they're $25 or $29 on the site for the 90mm EDF version of this, which is a great bargain in my mind. It's you don't have to do any designing, it's done for you. So yeah, but anyway, this let's take a look at some numbers here. Okay, now if this were a guided missile versus over a Tomahawk, we know Tomahawks are extremely expensive, and they're a lot bigger than this, and also, and Tomahawk, what are they, like $1-2 million, something like that. Something like this, a 90mm EDF, a decent one, a good one's roughly $250, and electronic speed controller, a good one, roughly $150, a decent battery, a couple of $100, and the flight controller, $100, servos, good servos. It only requires 2, and good servos, anywhere from $150 to $200 are really good servos. And the airframe for the PLA for this, $30 for this. And the telemetry system, you get for a couple of $100. So all in all, just parts alone, you're looking at, $1,080. Throw in another couple of $100 just for, miscellaneous stuff like that. So you're looking at, $1,100 to $1,300 for something like this. And let's look at some other numbers here. Okay, the wingspan of this is 680 millimeters, and the fuselage length is 1,427 millimeters. And so, yeah. And this is, in my opinion, it's rather large. Let's see if I can get this off here. Inside here, the battery area and stuff you can see down in here. a lot of area. And I still have to finish printing a couple of parts for this, and that's why I haven't glued everything together on here. And I haven't got the tail cone on here because it gives you several different tail cones on here depending how much, a smaller diameter thrust tubes and stuff like that. So you would print that to whichever size you are going to use. And so, yeah. And so something like this, let's say you were going to use something like this as a guided missile. Set that there for now. Let's go over some numbers here. Now, this with PLA, all up weight for this, I estimate to be about 7 pounds. Actually, 6.5 to 7.5 pounds. So I just go smack dab at the center, 7 pounds. Now, with an EDF in this, probably going to have a thrust to weight ratio of 1:1, which is really good. But the wing loading is high, so this is going to have to fly fast to stay airborne. So yeah, so I figure this should fly roughly around 120 miles an hour cruising speed. The stall speed is probably going to be somewhere around 70 to 80 miles an hour. So like I said, it's you got to be flying it fast all the time. So yeah, if for this particular one at PLA, but if you were to use this as a missile or something like that, no, you wouldn't have to worry about anything like that. But if you want to fly this as a regular airplane, stuff like this, definitely print this in lightweight PLA to get the wing loading a way lot lighter. So yeah, so if we're flying at 120 miles per hour, now we want to know how far this actually could go with that. So if I remember, did some calculations from like high school physics, and 120 miles an hour, I need to convert that into actually feet per second. And so let's see here, we have to take 120 times 5,280, and which roughly works out roughly about 176 feet per second. This thing will fly 176 feet per second. Now, with a modest climb out angle of 20 degrees and 20-degree angle, we want to know how far or how high this is going to climb, and also how far it's going to go distance before the battery runs out, stuff like that. So, and we want to fly to 10,000 feet. So what we have to do there, if I recall correctly, the vertical, again, 20-degree climb out. And if I believe correctly, we have to take the velocity times the sine of theta. And theta is 20 degrees. So we take that, and we have to multiply the feet per second by the sine of theta of 0.342, which roughly gives us, let's see here, let me make sure I got this right. Roughly going to be 60 feet per second. So an altitude is going to climb 60 feet a second. And to know the distance, we use that, again, the velocity, the cosine of theta this time. And theta is 20 degrees, so that's going to be 0.940, which is going to be 165 feet per second. So this is going to go forward 165 feet, and the altitude is going to be 60 feet. So yeah, so you come up with that. Now, we want this to go to 10,000 feet. And so if this goes up to 10,000 feet, you have to figure out how long that motor and the battery combination is going to last. And so I've done that too. So 10,000 feet, the distance a plane is going to travel is 5.2 miles. So 5.2 miles the distance to get to 10,000 feet. And that's going to take 2 minutes and 46 seconds to get to 10,000 feet, which is, not bad. Most EDFs have, you can run them full throttle for 2 to 3 minutes. And so yeah, but I do believe the higher you go in altitude, they begin to lose efficiency too. So you're gonna burn that battery, pretty much all of that battery going up to that 10,000 feet if you reach it. And that's gonna be if conditions are just correct. I mean, everything is working properly and everything is efficient to get you to 10,000 feet. So once you get to that 10,000 feet at a climb speed of 120 miles per hour, at an angle of 20 degrees, and all the weight of this thing being 7 pounds. Now, I'm being very modest here, having a glide ratio of 9 to 1. When I say a glide ratio of 9 to 1, that means, let's say 9 feet. The actual plane would travel forward 9 feet and drop 1 foot. So, it would drop, you have a that ratio. So 1 foot versus 9, so it's going to go forward 9 feet and drop 1 feet. So at 10,000 feet, and a vertical climb speed of roughly 60 feet per second, and the time it takes to get to 10,000 feet, the horizontal distance is going to be 5.2 miles going forward. So 5.2 miles, and with that glide ratio, is roughly going to be, with the glide ratio from 10,000 feet, we're looking at probably 17 miles. So 17 miles plus that 5 that it used to get to that distance, you're looking at something around 22 miles. So if all conditions are correct, everything is working right, this will climb to 10,000 feet. And the distance forward would be just a little over 5 miles, and then it can glide down to the wherever you want to land it, or your target landing, what you want. So yeah, but anyway, I did all the calculations for that, and my math is not that great anymore, but I believe I did everything correct. I hope I did. And so again, roughly something like this. At the most $1,300, and you could spend more money on this and put really excellent components in it and all kinds of stuff, but I just want to take a look at this being a guided missile, how much something like that would cost. But this, for my goal for this, is just to reach 200 miles an hour, and with a 3D printed plane. And I think even something like this, even by adding just a little more wingspan to this, can give a little more, a better glide ratio, where you don't have to fly so fast to keep, not a glide ratio, stall speed, where you don't have to fly so fast to keep this in the air. Because 70 miles an hour is pretty quick to keep this, before it stalls and tips the wing and goes over and smacks into the ground. And so yeah, but anyway, I'll be launching this from a dolly, also rolling on the ground. And so yeah, but so far this project to me is pretty cool. It's got this big duct inside, so yeah.
Subscribe for more.